What is going on, guys? This is an average fan here with a review on Assassin's Creed Unity Dead Kings. This is the first DLC for Assassin's Creed Unity, and I'm going to start off by saying I thought it wasn't very good. It was definitely subpar. They could have done better with this. That's what I'm going to say. Straight up. My rating, I give it a 4 out of 10. There were some positive things with it, but I think the negatives definitely outweighed those positives, especially, I'll explain why later. But I'm going to start off with some of the positives, and then I'll move on to the negatives, talk about the negatives a little bit more in depth. Now, the positive things, the biggest thing is that it's free. You get to download this for free, so you really can't argue with that. Free content is fine by me. Also, I think they did a good job with adding new things. You have new outfits you can use. Also, they added a new weapon, the guillotine gun. I think it's a very unique and an interesting weapon. It's fun to play with, definitely. So I think that was definitely a positive for this DLC. Also, I think the whole theme of the DLC was, they did a good job with it. I'm not a fan of things being dull and dark, but when things are dull and dark, I understand why. And I think they did a very good job with that in this DLC. You'll see in the cutscenes and the gameplay, it's very dull, very dark, gloomy. The whole theme is tied together throughout the whole DLC, and I like that. I think they did a very good job with that. Also, they added new types of enemies in the graves. You basically have these grave robber type enemies, and they add a new dynamic to the game, the way they play, because one-on-one, they're easy to kill. But as they add up in numbers, they get harder and harder to kill. Also, each of these grave robber, little group of them, they have kind of like a bigger guy who's their leader. And if you kill this leader, it will scare off the group that he was leading, and I think that adds a new dynamic to the whole stealth mission type deal, and it adds a new way to play the game, and I applaud Ubisoft for trying to do that. Also, the stealth missions were very good. The way the maps were set up for the stealth sections, I thought were good. There were many different ways to go. It wasn't a linear way. I mean, yes, you have to get to this point, but I think they did a good job varying that. Like, I could go this way, I could do this, I could do that. So that's really it for the positives, and they weren't that many, which is why I give it a 4 out of 10. But we're going to move on to the negatives, and I'm going to explain a little bit more in depth, because the negatives need explaining. First off, this is the biggest thing and the most simple, is that none of the bugs were fixed. There were less bugs in this, but there were still bugs there that were not fixed from the main story, and you would have thought they would have fixed those for this DLC. And that upsets me, because there were a lot of bugs in Unity. You would have thought that they would have fixed the bugs for Dead Kings, but they didn't. Also, no assassination missions. I'm playing Assassin's Creed. I want to assassinate people, and they didn't have any assassination missions, which didn't make any sense to me. Also, this ties into the fact that I thought there were too many puzzle missions, and this directly goes into the no assassination missions, because these puzzles, the whole puzzles things, it gets really boring after a while, and at least in my view, some of these puzzles weren't easy. And maybe just because I'm stupid, but I don't like doing puzzles. I like assassinating people. I don't mind the occasional puzzle, but the puzzles, they start to get boring by the end of the DLC. And you start to lose interest in the whole storyline of what's supposed to be going on. Also, this is for the story. There was nothing on Juno, Aida. None of that was even mentioned in the DLC. And there's also a complaint in the main game, because none of them were mentioned in the main game either. And I would have thought they could have learned from their mistakes from the main game. that in the DLC they maybe could have included a little bit with Juno, not too much, because they know not everyone's going to play it. But it would have been nice to see at least, something on Juno or the first Civilization people. Also, this ties into my next point, which is the piece that you find at the end. It's a piece of Eden. I mean, that's not ruining anything for me. Playing Assassin's Creed, you kind of knew that it was going to be a piece of Eden, like what you were looking for, just by, the way Napoleon and the whole Assassin's Creed things. You knew that this was going to be a piece of Eden, or at least I did. And this piece of Eden has basically it's not in context with anything. And it would have been nice to have this piece of Eden tied into maybe the other games, or maybe they're trying to make the next DLC or this whole series of DLCs for Unity tie into this one piece of Eden. So maybe we'll have to wait. I'm hoping that in the next DLC they include this piece of Eden in it. But as far as this DLC goes, there wasn't much on the piece of Eden that you find in this game. So that's really it. To conclude everything, I thought this DLC was very subpar. I gave it a 4 out of 10. It was free. They added a lot of new stuff, some unique stuff. I like the darkness, the whole theme of this DLC. But the bugs weren't fixed, the story could have been better, and the mission types get very, very boring after a while. So that's why I think this is a subpar game, and that's why I give it a 4 out of 10. Would I play it for free? Obviously. I mean, if you like Assassin's Creed, I mean, it's free. That's all I have to say. But if they charged for this, I would have been upset. Paying $5, $10, $15, whatever they would have charged for this DLC, I would have been upset paying for it because it's not very good. But it is free, so I would play it. I wouldn't pay for it, and hopefully they do a better job with the next DLC for Unity. That's really it. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Leave any suggestions for new videos in the comments. Remember to like the video. If you have anything to say, comment or inbox me, and I'll try and get back to you. But I hope you guys subscribe. Stay tuned for more content, and I'll see you guys later.